నమస్కారం. డాక్టర్ బిఆర్ అంబేద్కర్ సార్వత్రిక విశ్వవిద్యాలయం విద్యార్థులకు స్వాగతం. ఈ ప్రసారంలో
we are here to talk about humanistic theories, and as a part of humanistic theories we will be talking about Maslow's need hierarchy theory today. You all know that humanistic theory is called a third force in psychology. You know that behaviorism and psychoanalysis have been called as two significant schools which have brought a lot of revolution in the study of human behavior. Now humanistic theory came as a third force which does not support both psychoanalysis as well as behaviorism in its perspectives. In humanistic theory, unlike psychoanalysis and behaviorism, there is an emphasis upon the positive in human nature. Humanistic theory talks about self-actualization, which was the need which was first talked about by Maslow. That way, Maslow is a very important theorist in humanistic psychology. So let's talk about Maslow's need hierarchy theory, of which the pinnacle, the topmost need according to Maslow, is self-actualization. Abraham Maslow, the full name of Maslow, says that all our actions are motivated in order to achieve certain needs of ours. Needs may vary from lower order needs to higher order needs, which we are going to see shortly. And people are motivated on the basis of 5 categories of needs according to him. He calls them 5 classes of needs, which are ordered in a hierarchical structure based upon their power and force, which is often displayed, which is in the form of a pyramid. The hierarchy, which we are going to see very shortly, it suggests that people are motivated to fulfill basic needs of theirs first before moving on to other more advanced needs. Well, the lowest level of the pyramid will be made of the basic needs, like for example the hunger, thirst and whatnot. While more complex needs, as we go up the pyramid, the more and more complex needs are placed one above the other. They are located at the top of the pyramid, while the lower part is comprised of basic needs. Now needs at the bottom of this pyramid are basic physical requirements, including the need for food, water, sleep, warmth and so on and so forth. Basically the physiological needs. As you see in the pyramid, the last part of the pyramid, the foundation of the pyramid is based upon the physiological needs, the basic needs of an individual. You have just seen the triangle which appears as a triangle, the 5 categories of needs, one placed above the other, and this is the pyramid of hierarchy of needs. This hierarchy suggests that people are motivated to fulfill the basic needs before moving on to the other more advanced needs. So as I said, the lowest levels are made up of the most basic needs, and at the top level are the more advanced needs. Well, Maslow's hierarchy of needs shows that once these lower order needs, that is the lower level needs, the basic needs have been met, then that is when a person will move on further to the next level of needs, which here, according to in the pyramid that you have just seen, the second category of needs is related to the safety and security. Once, as I said, the lower level needs are satisfied externally, that is the physiological needs are satisfied. Now the level above that is important, which is for the safety and security, one above the other. Now these higher order needs, while lower order needs are fulfilled externally, like for example physiological needs and certain other needs, higher order needs are fulfilled internally, like for example the self-esteem, which you have seen in the pyramid. Now as people progress up the pyramid, needs become increasingly psychological and social. Remember, the lowest level is physiological, followed by the higher order needs, one after the other as you go up the pyramid. Now these become psychological and social as you go up the pyramid. Once the physiological needs are satisfied, the need for love, friendship, intimacy all start becoming important. And further up the pyramid, the need for personal esteem and feelings of accomplishment become the priority. And Maslow emphasized the importance of self-actualization, the ultimate motive, which he calls the ultimate motive, which is a process of growing and developing as a person in order to achieve individual's highest possible potential, the best potential that one is capable of. You see, in this hierarchy, though I didn't represent this as a pyramid now, but I have put the order of needs, which I am going to discuss one by one presently. Basically, we start off with physiological needs, followed by security needs, followed by social needs, followed by self-esteem, and finally the self-actualization. And what comprises each of these categories is what we are going to see now. Before going into the details of each of these needs, Abraham Maslow believed that these needs are similar to instincts and play a major role in motivating the behavior of an individual. If an individual is behaving in a particular way, that is because he is motivated to behave and there is a need which motivates him. Physiological, security, social, esteem, all these four needs are called deficiency needs, which we call them as D needs. What does it mean? It means that these needs arise due to deprivation. If they are not satisfied, then the person cannot move on. Satisfying these lower level needs is important in order to avoid unpleasant feelings or consequences. And Maslow turned the highest level of pyramid as growth need, the topmost, which is also known as being need or B needs. Growth needs do not stem from a lack of something, but rather a desire to grow as a person. This is where humanistic theory comes into the picture. The emphasis of humanistic theory comes into the picture. Now let's go into the details quickly of whatever 5 categories of needs which we have been talking so far. Let us start off with the lowest level of the pyramid, the physiological needs. What do they comprise of? Breathing, homeostasis, water, sleep, food, clothing, shelter. Without each or any of these, a person feels deprived. He needs all these in order to physiologically be satisfied. So, the lowest level of the needs thus is the physiological or survival need. Over and above that, that is as a second category, just above that, we see the safety and security needs. Personal security, financial security, health and well-being, safety net against accidents, illness or any other adverse impacts, all these become very important after physiological needs. Once the physiological needs are satisfied, a person tends to think about this particular category of needs. On the whole, an individual cannot satisfy any level unless the one below it is satisfied. That is, if the physiological needs are not satisfied, a person does not tend to think about safety needs or security needs. Only when he is satisfied with the physiological needs, only then he comes to the safety and security needs. Then, once a person is satisfied physiologically, once a person is completely happy with his safety needs, then come what are called social needs. Like for example, your friendship, the family relationships, the intimacy with friends or family members, the near and dear, the significant people in the life, and having a supportive and communicative family. Any of these, once again, if they are not satisfied, the person will not go to the fourth level. Also, if the physiological needs and the safety and security needs are not satisfied, a person will not think about social needs. So, as I repeatedly said, only one level is satisfied. Only when one level is satisfied, the person will go to the next level. So, as you see, once the physiological needs are satisfied, once the safety security needs are satisfied, a person goes to the next level, the third level, that is the social needs. You see the components which make up each level of this hierarchy, of this pyramid. So, then that is as the fourth category comes the esteem needs. All humans have a need to be respected, to have some self-esteem for themselves, some self-respect, something which is specially their own, a need to be recognized, a need to be respected, a need to be known for, a need to be special. This is also called as a belonging need, and this esteem presents the normal human desire to be accepted and valued by the others. It can be your family, the friends, the social circle, the community, whatever, but one feels the need to be recognized and valued. So, as I show you in this picture, you see the fourth category here. Once the physiological needs are satisfied, a person moves on to the safety and security needs. Once the safety and security needs are satisfied, the person moves on to the social needs, and from there the esteem needs. And at each category you see the components which are very important. And finally, after all these needs are satisfied, comes the ultimate, that is the self-actualization. This is where the humanistic theory shows its strength. Self-actualization is the motivation to realize one's own maximum potential and possibilities. It's not enough that if one realizes or recognizes that there is a capability. The capability has to be converted into action. It has to be put into, it has to be realized. It is considered to be the master motive. Self-actualization is supposed to be the master motive, and this is the final need which manifests when the lower order needs, as I have shown you repeatedly in the earlier slides, when all the lower level needs are satisfied, this is the ultimate need, this is the final need, which manifests only when all the other lower order needs are satisfied. So, according to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, this is the pinnacle, this is the ultimate for any individual, and Maslow emphasizes need for self-actualization as a healthy individual's prime motivation. It's very important for an individual to feel self-actualized. So, you see here in this picture the 5 categories of needs, one above the other. As I told you, when the lower order needs are fulfilled, the higher order needs start showing their presence, and thus a person who is satisfied with all the 4 lower levels of needs would reach the ultimate, that is the self-actualization motive, the need for showing his potential, realizing his potential and actualizing his potential, making it the maximum, making it the best that he can. So, you see that once the physiological needs are satisfied, the second level, that is the safety and security needs, are felt, and once even the safety and security needs are fulfilled, the person goes to the next stage, that is the social needs, feels the need for social interactions and social approval, and once that social needs are satisfied, he goes to the esteem needs. Now, let me tell you one more thing. It is not that a person can go from lowest level to the next level and to the next level and to the next level and directly that way to the actualization, to the pinnacle. It's not usually like that. The person keeps flitting between these lower order needs. Like for example, when a person is feeling satisfied with his esteem, that does not mean he does not go back to the physiological need, the lowest level need. So, a person can move in the lower 4 levels, and when a person is thoroughly satisfied with all the 4 levels, the basic levels, he goes to the final, that is the actualization need. See, as I told you, it is not necessary that a person once he is satisfied with the physiological needs, he moves on to safety and security needs, then he goes to social needs, and then moves on to the esteem needs, and finally since all these are satisfied, he directly moves on to the self-actualization. If that is the case, we would have seen in the whole world a lot many people who are self-actualized. But then if you really count the people who are self-actualized, according to Maslow, it's just a handful of numbers, it's just a handful of names. He wouldn't call everyone self-actualized. For example, he called Albert Einstein self-actualized person. If we have to come into the Indian scenario, we may call Lord Buddha self-actualized. But then not everyone is self-actualized. If this pyramid is so easy that you move on from, as you see in the pyramid, from the lower order, from step 1 to the 2 to 3 to 4 and directly to 5, everyone would have been as great as Lord Buddha, which is not true. So, what happens? Why people are not able to reach the self-actualization point? It is not that they do not have a need of self-actualization at all. They do have. But then what is the problem? It is like this. A physiological need of an individual may be satisfied. For example, hunger. When a person's hunger is satiated, once it is satisfied, he may think about a safety need. Okay, my stomach is full, I am earning so much per month, so I have a good job which fills my tummy and maybe my family as well. So next he would want to have a house to live in. Usually a person may start off with a rented house or whatever. A person who is not satisfied with the kind of house that he is living in would want to have a better house which gives him more safety and security. He may acquire certain things like property or jewelry or certain valuable things in his house for which he thinks security is very important, safety is very important. So he would want to have a safe house. Now he would think about the house for which he has to invest some money. And when, let's say, if he has invested too much of money, his money which satisfies his physiological needs would come down. So he would look for more money which would satisfy his physiological needs. So did he go further to the social needs, or did he come back to the physiological needs that we were talking about? So this is what happens. Now okay, let us think about a person who has been able to satisfy his physiological needs, some good income, able to satisfy his physiological needs, built a house which gives him safety and security. Now he wouldn't be happy if he just has a lot of money and some security. He would want to have social relationships. He wants to have love from people. He would want to take care of his family. He wants to be cared for by the family. He wants to be a part of the family. He wants to be a part of the social milieu that he belongs to. So he starts, developing his energies toward attaining this goal. Now here his need is to acquire the love and also give love. It's a reciprocal relationship over here. Like for example, his family, being close to his family, giving and taking from the family in terms of love, in terms of intimacy, in terms of once again security, a social security here once again. Now let us say in this process, once again there is a lot of money that he has to distribute between the family members, and once again the amount that he can contribute to satisfy the physiological needs comes down. So once again he thinks about physiological needs. You see that from if we call physiological needs step A, safety and security needs step B, and social needs step C. Do you see the flitting between A, B and C? Just because he has passed A, he doesn't remain in B, he may come back to A. Just because he has crossed B doesn't mean he remains in C, he may once again come back to A or B. So this way, once again, fine, the person is happy with his social needs. Let's say he wants some esteem, some status in the society, some recognition, some identity for himself, some kind of appreciation from others, for which he wants to study hard or go up harder to a higher level in his life. He wants to invest some money in the business so that he has something on his own, he can earn something on his own. Esteem needs, which means from A, which is physiological needs, to B, which is safety and security needs, to C, which is social needs, he went to D, which is esteem needs. Now does he remain there forever? He may once again come back to A or B or C. In order to feel the esteem, in order to satisfy his esteem needs, where does he get the esteem from? One is telling self that I am capable and I am, the self-efficacy, feeling of self-efficacy. I am capable and I can do this. The other is appreciation from the others, and that brings him back to social needs. So this way person keeps moving between, as I said, A, B, C and D, and it is not very easy for a person to cross all these four, or if I have to use the humanistic word and also an existential term to a certain extent, transcend all these needs A, B, C, D, that is physiological, safety and security, and then social needs, and then esteem needs, and then moving on to self-actualization, the ultimate. It is not very easy because people keep moving on between these four needs that I have talked to you about. They are more and more often in the D needs. Having talked about Maslow's theory, how is it applied to humanistic theory? Now, humanistic theory says this self-actualization is the positive motive which pushes, which propels an individual to attain his best. So it's a positive force. Not all, in fact, the humanists say that man is not just a slave of his instincts or not just a slave of his environment. He is in fact driven, propelled by the force which is there within, that is self-actualization. So having said this, let's briefly criticize Maslow's hierarchy of needs. According to various theorists, there are certain points of criticism for Maslow's hierarchy of needs. While some research showed some support for Maslow's theories, most research has not been able to substantiate the idea of this need hierarchy. And his very definition of self-actualization was supposed to be difficult to test scientifically, according to the criticism. And then his research on self-actualization was also criticized, that it was based on very limited sample of individuals, including the people he knew, as well as biographies of famous individuals that Maslow believed are self-actualized, like for example Albert Einstein or Roosevelt. These were the people that he has looked into, in-depth studied into. Their biographies have been in-depth studied into. And of course, while we are talking about criticism, don't you think it's important for us to talk about the strengths of Maslow's theory too? Maslow's hierarchy of needs represents an important shift in the paradigm with reference to the psychology, with reference to the field of psychology, with reference to the behavior of an individual. So far, things have only been looked at from an instincts point of view or an environment point of view, but here was one theory which showed that there is something much more different. Rather than focusing on abnormal behavior and development, Maslow's humanistic theory, humanistic psychology, was focused on the development of healthy individuals. This is where Maslow differed significantly from all the other theories, and he became the trendsetter. He was responsible for the paradigm shift, and later, as all of us know, it was Carl Rogers, who followed his path, who took upon the self-actualization as a master motive, and he developed a theory of humanism which was largely based upon self-actualization.
ఈ కార్యక్రమాలపై మీ అభిప్రాయాల్ని, సూచనల్ని, సలహాల్ని ఆహ్వానిస్తున్నాం. మా చిరునామా ద డైరెక్టర్, ఆడియో విజువల్ ప్రొడక్షన్ అండ్ రీసెర్చ్ సెంటర్, డాక్టర్ బిఆర్ అంబేద్కర్ ఓపెన్ యూనివర్సిటీ, ప్రొఫెసర్ జి రామరెడ్డి మార్క్, రోడ్ నంబర్ 46, జూబ్లీ హిల్స్, హైదరాబాద్ 500033.